is possible. If you try and be patient, it pays off while you're waiting. The seeds you water will grow, the rest will follow. Cause this life's what you make it, and some rules are for breaking. Destiny will play its role, you know. What's meant to be will be, even when it's not easy. Live your life free, no boundaries, even when it's not easy. If you give love, you get love. If you give up, you get nothing. Can't you see? If you just believe anything's possible, don't rush too much. When it gets rough, get tough, sing with me. Through everything, anything is possible. Doesn't always make sense why some things gotta happen. Fight through the rain, cause you know the sun will follow. If you practice persistence, somebody's gonna witness. You're working hard and it shows, you know. What's meant to be will be, even when it's not easy. Live your life free, no boundaries, even when it's not easy. If you give love, you get love. If you give up, you get nothing. Can't you see? If you just believe anything's possible, don't rush too much. When it gets rough, get tough, sing with me. Through everything, anything is possible. Are you ready to go? I've waited for a long time. I must be out of my mind. Now I'm ready for this to start. When the lights go out, it's so dark. When the moment comes, we'll find a part. Are you ready to go? Go, go, go. Are you ready to go? Go, go, go. Are you ready to go?
I know I've said it before for anybody that's been on a webinar, but I swear that I always want to dance during that last part of that video. I'm always like, yeah, it's so catchy. I love it. All right, well, I have 7:01 on my phone in my computer, now 7:02, so now we are 2 minutes over, so I am going to start. I would just like to say welcome to everybody that has joined us this evening. Looking at the computer, it looks like we have 108 attendees right now. We had about 230 registers, so I'm super excited to bring you guys all of this information tonight. My name is Diana Marsh. I am the Assistant Director of Outdoor Adventures for the Michigan Crossroads Council, and I will be your main MC for this evening. First thing I just want to say is that you are all muted, so if you start talking, you're going to be talking to yourself because we will not be able to hear you. But if you do have any questions at any time, please feel free to make sure that you put it in the chat feature in the bottom there. There's a little bubble with 3 dots. Click on that, and then you can type it in. Make sure when it says to, make sure it says panelists, and then you can type in a question there, and we'll try to answer it by the end of the slideshow today, or presentation today. So I'm going to start off with our Cub Scout camps. Super exciting. Now is the time for our Cub Scout camping. We have our Cub Scout adventures that we are offering this summer. We have Cub Scout overnight camp. We've got Weeblos overnight camp. We've got family camp. We've got day camp. We've got adventure point programs. We've got all these programs, and everybody, Kim's smiling. I can see it because we're excited. We are so ready to go. Our big goal for this summer is exactly what you see on your screen, is to get youth back into the outdoors. And I don't know about you guys, but I have 2 boys. I've got a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, and they're like, Mama, get me out of this house. So super excited, really wanting to go to camp, especially my 6-year-old, super, super excited. So we once again, thank you again for coming, and we are going to start. So our first presenter this evening is going to be Bob Sauer. Bob Sauer is our camp operations chair, and he's going to go over this slide with you a little bit on some reasons why we should go camping. So Bob, I'm going to hand it off to you.
Hey, thanks, Diana. This is Bob Sauer. I'm your camp operations chair, and I'm everything to do with program at camps. So what I want to talk to you a little bit about tonight is just pretty much what we're looking for and why we do it. You know, there's not a better learning activity place in the entire world than being at camp. To see all of the wonders of the world, to see all of the great things in nature. You know, it challenges our children, it challenges our scouts, it challenges us sometimes when it comes to the different types of socialization, you know, the physical activities we do, but most importantly for our scouts, it builds self-esteem and self-confidence. You know, it's a relationship. You know, several of the gentlemen that work with me as volunteers, you know, work with outdoor ethics, work with conservation and ecology, and it truly is a relationship with the environment and getting to know the out of doors. You know, it helps build our learning. It helps even our scouts in school. You know, there's bonding time for each and every one of us when we go to camp, either with our peers, with our children, in some of our cases, our grandchildren. You know, it's just a great time. There's plenty of time for scout-specific things. You know, there's advancement opportunities. You know, there's things that only can be done at summer camp. The unique outdoor program type opportunities we have. You know, all these things are built upon the relationships we have because we have an incredible volunteer and professional staff that are going to be with us all summer long. And most importantly to me, it's a place where Scout is reverent, a place where we can go and we can look at the stars, we can look at the sky, and we can see all those great things that are provided for us. Next slide. You know, we can look back at 2020. Many of us would rather not. It was a tough year. You know, we did a lot of things virtually. We got a lot of merit badges for the older scouts. The scouts participated in, camp sort of like, and then we virtually participated out of the box day camps. You know, there were still advancement opportunities that were included. We were able to do things remotely. We were still able to get scouts out to some of our area parks in the metro area. We were able to get scouts out to some of our other parts of the state, places where they could still do scout things like kayaking and playing games and getting outdoors, for physical fitness. You know, the technology side of things, horsemanship's going to be a big one at our D-Bar A camp, but it all will work towards building us as better citizens of our country and our nation. You know, join me at camp. There's nothing better than a good campfire and laying back and looking at the stars. Be there with me. I'll be there to see you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Really appreciate it. I fully agree. It's that camp feeling. You know, once you step your foot into camp, you're like, I'm here. Like you get that little itchy, the little tingly feeling. And I'm at camp, and I am so excited to be here. I feel that literally every time I either drive. Well, it's usually not walking to camp, but drive into camp. I'm like, I'm at camp, even though I might be working. I'm still at camp. It's just so exciting. So now I'm going to talk about the first piece of our camps that we're offering is our overnight camps. We're calling them overnight camps for those of you who have been with us for multiple years. We used to call them resident camps, and some people got a little bit confused on what that meant. So now we're calling them overnight camps. So the overnight camps that we do have are going to be offered in 3 locations this year. Those locations are DeBarre Scout Ranch, Camp Tatanka, and Gerber Scout Reservation. So at those locations, at those locations, DeBarre will be offering Cub overnight camp as well as Webelos overnight camp. Camp Tatanka will be offering Cub overnight camp, Webelos overnight camp, and family camp. And then I'm sorry, back that up. I went a little bit backwards. DeBarre will be offering Webelos overnight camp and family camp. Camp Tatanka will be offering Cub overnight, Webelo overnight, and family. And then Gerber will be offering Cub overnight and Webelo overnight. So many camps, I can't keep them straight. So excited. The camps, the overnight camps that we are offering. The Cub Scout, we have the Cub Scout overnight camp, and we have the Webelos overnight camp. We get lots of questions on, hey, Diana, you know, I have got, a wolf and a Webelos. You know, where do you think we should go? Should we go to Cub Scout resident camp or Webelos resident camp? And I always say to my, my customers, it's like, hey, listen, you can go to whichever one you want to. It is okay for your wolf to go to Webelos camp, and it is okay for your Webelos to go to Cub resident camp. We say we have those broken up because the emphasis on that camp is on the advancements for the ranks of wolf and bear for Cub overnight. And for Webelos, we look for we build the program on the Webelos pin advancements for the Webelos. So is it okay for your wolf to go to Webelos camp? Most definitely. And is it okay for your Webelos to go to Cub camp? Yes, you can do that. As I said, we want to make sure that your family gets the programming that it needs, and our camps will also make sure that we have some extra little things for you. We can give you a little advancement sheet. Maybe if your wolf goes to Webelos camp, we can give them a little sheet to say, hey, these are the things that you could be working on here while at camp. But we want to make sure that we offer that for you. New this year for some of our camps is our family camping option. And our family camping option really is for anybody that wants to bring, as I say, your whole family. So if you have one Cub Scout that's registered, whether they be anywhere between a lion and an arrow of light, they can come to family camp. And you can bring, your mom, your dad, your grandma, your grandpa, no dogs, no cats, no fish, no birds, no critters, but you can bring all the family members that you want in a family camp setting. And so the family camps will be offered at DeBarre this year and at Tatanka this year. So that's new for our overnight programs this year, as I said as well, with the Cub overnight and the Webelos overnight. So those are the 3 overnight programs that we're offering. Cub overnight is a 2-night program. Webelos overnight is a 3-night program. The family camp at Tatanka is a 2-night program, and the family camp at DeBarre is a 1-night program. So all of this information, I know it's a lot thrown at you, but all of it is also available on our website on the Cub overnight camp homepage. All of the dates are there. You can click on the register button, and it doesn't bring you to the registration specifically, but it brings you to the registration homepage of that camp location. And you can read a little bit more about that camp specifically and then see the prices on that as well. All right, so moving on. We are going to show you a little bit of, we're going to show you a camp promo video that we did in 2019. We would love to have done a new one, but we didn't have camp this past summer, so we're going to show you this one, and I can
tell you that we are going to work on a new one, but every time I see this, it gets me super pumped for camp. So I will show that right now. Once again, another video that just gets you super pumped for camp. Every time I see those waterfront, I am a waterfront person, so I always been like, I can't wait. That's my favorite area in camp. You know, I see the water and I just want to go towards it. So now we're going to get into each camp a little specifically, and we're going to have a one director from each camp explain a little bit more about the camp and say some the dates that are available and some programming. So I am going to introduce Nathan Wells. Nathan Wells will be my program director this year at Camp Tatanka. So I am going to pass it off to Nathan, and he's going to explain to you a little bit more about Camp Tatanka for all of you that don't know anything about Camp Tatanka.
Yep. Hi, everyone. As Diana said, my name is Nathan Wells. I'm the program director at Camp Tatanka. We have three separate types of camps. We have the Cub overnight camp, the Weeblos overnight camp, and the family camp. The overnight camps are the Weeblos and Cub overnight camps are, of course, your traditional overnight camps that you would have where you would go out and have all sorts of fun having your advancements and stuff like that. And then the family camps are where you get to bring the entire family. So like grandma and grandpa can come and visit, and like your brother that lives all the way out in California can come out and visit you at camp and have the same amount of fun that you had that he always hates hearing about at Christmas about how much fun you had. So now he can come and enjoy it as well. Just a few area like program stuff I like to hit. We have a STEM learning center. So in that STEM center, we have 3D printers. We have 3D pens, which are awesome. You can like draw in 3D, and those are so cool. And then we've got like circuit boards and other stuff like that where you can build your own circuit and make different noises and sounds and stuff like that. We also have a spacious outdoor pavilion on the back side of our dining hall, which overlooks Big Wolf Lake. It's a beautiful view, and I can't wait to enjoy it with you as we eat our meals at the dining hall. And then, of course, we have a wide variety of advancement opportunities. Each one of our areas on camp has an advancement opportunity of some sort. So if you're going to Cub Craft, you can earn, you'll get requirements and stuff passed off on at least something. And we have, of course, sheets and stuff that you can get at camp where you can see what you got. We have a pick your own adventure pin schedule. So you get to, for Weeblos, so you get to select on a schedule on what you want to do, and you can have a set schedule on what you want to do and have all the fun that you want. And then we have open programming schedule, which means you get a list of activities that are held at this time, and you can go off and have all the fun you want to. If you want more information on Camp Tatanka, we are having our first Camp Tatanka specific leaders meeting next week on Monday the 8th at 7 p.m. You can find that registration link on the council calendar or our Facebook page at Camp Tatanka. I'll pass it back off to you, Diana.
Thank you, Nathan. I know Camp Tatanka, a lot of people don't know anything about it because we've never run our Cub program there. So please feel free to contact us if you have any questions about Camp Tatanka. Next up is Joe Lewis, and he is the camp director from DeBarre Scout Ranch.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the webinar tonight. I am incredibly excited to be here, and Webelos resident / it should be Webelos and Cub Camp, like Diana said. Everybody can come regardless of if you're a Webelo or not, and I highly suggest you do. It's going to be the coolest camp ever. I guarantee it, and it's so we've got a really cool theme planned out for this year, road trip theme. We're going to have a whole bunch of different things pertaining to a bunch of different states and historical locations around the United States. We're going to have an awesome horse experience for everybody. We're going to be doing some metalworking exposure events for everybody to participate in. And we're going to make sure we have fun for the whole family. So while it's going to be advancement based for Webelos Scouts, we are going to make sure that all you Cub Scouts that come out have a great time as well. So we're going to have a lot of really fun activities in each of our different areas available just for you guys. So I believe Jansen has some stuff he wants to talk about at Family Camp.
Yeah, so the Family Camp at the Ranch is a new program that we are doing this year, and it's actually in partnership with our local scouting districts. So we have 3 districts that have come on board and have brought their own volunteer teams that are partnering with us at camp to be able to provide you with a 24-hour overnight camping experience at the ranch. And so those are hosted by our teams in Chippewa and Ottawa and Pontiac, Manitou, but they're open up to every single scout across the state and beyond. And so what that's going to provide you is an opportunity to come out and have a 24-hour overnight camp experience where we're going to provide you with meals, give you the option to be able to rent a tent if you don't have one. If you prefer to sleep in your RV or your camper and you have one, you can bring it out at an additional cost. We want to make sure that we provide you with a camping experience that is sure to be a success. And if you have not yet camped, or maybe this is your first time ever camping as a family or within scouting, these family camps are really geared to provide you with a positive first time out in the outdoors. And in that, we're going to provide you with all the quintessential things that we offer at camp, being aquatics, shooting sports, craft games, horseback riding, and a campfire experience as well. So we look forward to seeing you guys at the ranch this summer for one of our many opportunities that we have. Thanks, Diana.
It's on mute. You're welcome, Jansen. And Jansen's our camping director over at DeBarre. So Jansen and Joe are working very closely together on that Webelos camp and that family camp. And I'm super excited to see that family camp and all the people that will be there. And I know you guys have your volunteers that are running it. So it's super great to know. Thank you guys for that. Next up, we have Mary Steck. Mary Steck is the camp director for Betty Ford Adventureland, which is also known as Gerber Scout Reservation. Betty Ford Adventureland is our Cub Scout side of Gerber Scout Reservation. So Mary, it's all yours.
Good evening, everybody, and I'm very happy to be here tonight to talk to you about Betty Ford Adventureland. And as you can see, we have a pretty full schedule for the summer. We have 6 sessions of Cub Scout overnight camping, and we have 8 sessions of Webelos camp for our older Cub Scouts to come to camp. I'd like to highlight just a few things that are special about Betty Ford Adventureland. The program areas that you will get to partake in when you're there are Pirates Cove and Huck Finn Rafts. Those are our water activities. Pirates Cove is our aquatics area where we have swimming adventures and some inflatables for your scouts to participate with. Huck Finn Rafts is a quiet little corner on a quiet little lake for fishing and boating. We also will have an area at Fort Clatsop. Fort Clatsop is a replica Lewis and Clark Fort from the Oregon Trail. It's a very unique, one-of-a-kind area in the state of Michigan and in all of our Boy Scout camps in Michigan. And we will focus on scouting activities and scouting skills in that unique setting. We also have giant tree houses that overlook a lake, and that will be our nature area and our nature center for the summer. And that will be the site for learning all about and performing all kinds of nature experiments. Crockett's Challenge is exactly what that sounds like. That is our range, and we will have opportunities there for BB gun shooting, for archery, wrist rockets, and any other things that might occur on a range. Fort Acala, Wagons On, and Uncharted Lands is our adventure area of camp. That's the area where you're going to have a whole lot of fun activities. You're going to have adventure-based activities. There's an obstacle course. There are kart races and other kinds of adventure-based things. All of our program areas this summer are going to focus on fun activities. They're going to focus on some scout skills, so you will all be able to accomplish some rank advancement kinds of things while you're at camp, and all done in an outdoor, hands-on, fun kind of a way for kids. If you have questions or you need more information about Gerber Scout Reservation and Betty Ford Adventureland, please feel free to send me an email or give me a call. You can find that information on the MCC website, and I will be happy to talk to any one of you. Thanks, Diana.
Thank you, Mary. One of my coolest memories about Gerber Scout Reservation is actually seeing those tree houses. I heard that there was tree houses somewhere the first time I went there, and I was like, there's tree houses? I need to see these. They're pretty cool. You know, there's a little ramp that you can walk up to it, so you're not like climbing on these little scary ladders or anything, but there's a ramp that goes to it, and they are tree houses, and they overlook a little water area. Super cool area. I love it. I love it. All right, so thank you, Mary. We do have some questions in the chat, and I'm going to take a little time to answer some of those before we go on and we talk about the camp fees, because I know some of you guys are a little bit interested. So I'm going to scroll back a little bit here just to see a little shout out to Flushing. Yay, Flushing! I used to live in Flushing. Love Flushing. And my friend Robert. Hello, Robert. Thank you for coming. Nice to hear from you again. Some of the questions that have asked that have not been answered, COVID safety protocols. We are going to go over COVID a little bit later in the presentation. So if you hold on to that, we will go over stuff. And then if you have any questions after that, we can definitely answer it for you. How do you register your pack? Great question. I can post it up afterwards when I'm done with this. I can post up our link, but if you actually go to the Michigan Crossroads website, under Outdoor Adventures, there it says Cub Resident Camp or Cub Overnight Camp. There's a drop down, and you click there, and then it has all the dates and all the camps that are available. And if you click on the register, that's how you start the registration process. The registration process, you can do it multiple ways. Since it is Cub Camp, we understand that sometimes units go as a whole pack, or sometimes as a den, or sometimes if the pack and the den are going, sometimes the family just likes to register as a family. And I think this is another question further down that I can help answer for you as well. So can you sign up any of those three ways? Yes, most definitely. You can sign up as a pack, a den, or you can sign up as a family. Now, people ask, okay, well, can my son or daughter come to camp just by themselves, or do I have to send an adult with them? So we are not providing the adult leadership to stay at the campsite with your scout. We are providing the staff that would provide programming for you and programming and the food for you. So our food service staff as well. When we say you can register for camp, so you can either register with a scout and a parent, or two scouts and a parent if it's from the same family, or three scouts, or however many scouts you have and a parent. Or you can register with your unit. So your unit has to have a minimum of 2 leaders that are, for our youth protection. So youth protection trained, 2 registered leaders, a minimum of 2 leaders to 4 scouts. And then you can get larger from there. If parents want to join with the unit, so say if the den is coming, the den leadership, there's 2 den leadership, and they say, hey, we're going to camp, we can bring up to 4 youth with us too. Technically it's 8, 4 for 1, but we always have to have 2 for youth protection. So, but any parents that want to come along, parents can definitely go along. We encourage parents. We want parents to come. Bob explained it a little bit in the beginning. One of the things that we always hear from our parents that come to camp is, wow, I really got some quality time with my child at camp, something that we we've never had before, and there's that bonding experience. So yes, we do really would love to have the parents come, but if parents can't come and they, you know, the child can go with the unit, then that is perfectly fine as well. Another thing that parents say sometimes is, hey, you know, like I can't take off all the days. Can I come for one day and my husband or, you know, somebody else come for another day, or grandma or something? And totally, yes, the answer is yes. We want this to make an enjoyable experience for you. So if you can't come all days, you know, you can do a switch off. You don't have to pay for 2 different people. It's just one person. It's one person coming for 1.5 days, and the next person is coming in for the second 1.5 days, or whatever that time frame may be for that camp. I hope that answers the questions on that piece. Let me just scroll through and just make sure I'm not missing anything else. That one, COVID, perfect. So dining and sleeping is going to be different depending on the camp. And I said we'll go over some COVID things a little bit later, but each camp will be doing dining procedures a little bit differently just because of the location and what is at that location. But for sleeping, I can tell you that we are requiring everybody to be to have one youth in a tent, unless it is a family member. So if you have a parent and a child, the parent and the child can be in the tent together. Or if you have 2 siblings that are going, you know, with the den, the 2 siblings can be in a tent. But if you're doing a unit, you know, a pack, your pack is going, we are saying that one child in a tent, and those, but you're still all going to be in the same area. Let me see if I'm missing anything else. Do parents need to be BSA registered? Great question. So Scouts BSA, so our older program, the adults, all the adults that go to camp have to be registered. For Cub Scout camp, Cub Scout, when I say Cub Scout, Weeblos, and Family Camp, if you're going as a unit, so if you're going as a den or a pack where you have adults that are responsible for children for Scouts that are not their own, they have to be registered. So you have to have a minimum, as I said, of 2 registered leaders if they're being the guardians of those Scouts for that time frame. If it is just a parent and a child, no, the parent does not need to be registered to come to camp. But they still need all the forms that we have to come to camp, like your medical and the youth protection and all of the COVID forms. Wow, you guys have so many questions. Day camps are going to be coming a little bit later in the presentation, so we're going to go on that. I just want to make sure parents go to Weeblos camp with their child. Sure, yeah, parents can go to Weeblos camp with their kids. Yes, with their Scouts. As I said before, we love it. Boys and girls, it's okay. We want you to come to camp with your children if possible. We do not have cabins for Weeblos and Cubs. We don't do any cabins for our 3 properties. It would be all in tents. So question is, can the adult responsible for a child that is not your own? Only if you have another adult with you. So there needs to be a minimum of 2 registered leaders to have a child that is not your own child at camp. Okay. I think that's it right now for that. Once again, if I miss something, you can retype it in and we'll check again a little bit later. So let's look at the current slide that we're here. It's at the 2021 camp fees. I know everybody always asks about fees and where we're at. This is our Cub overnight programs is our 2 evening programs. So it's $120 per person. What I mean by that is for the Scout and for the adult. And that is the discounted fee. The discounted fee is up until May 15th. So if you pay in full up till May 15th, you pay in full by May 15th, then you get that $120 per person rate. And Weeblos camp is the same thing. It's $150 per person. And then family camp, it's different prices because they're different timelines. Camp Tatanka is 2 overnights and DeBaray is 1 overnight. And that's why that fee is a different fee. After May 15th, that fee goes up. It goes up to $128 after May 15th for the Cubs. It goes to $158 for the Weebs, and family camp at DeBaray goes up to $50, and then $128 for the family camp. So that is it on the camp fees on that site. So next slide, please. The thing with our camp fees is that we also have on here, it says scholarships available. So our next slide, we'll talk a little bit about scholarships. And I'm going to have Kathy Earhart. She is our camp scholarship, our MCC scholarship chair. And I'm going to have her explain a little bit more about camp scholarships for you. So,
Good
Kathy?
evening. Welcome to the first webinar for Cub Camping. I'm excited in regards to that. We're getting back to camp. We have a commitment to everyone in Michigan Crossroads that we are going to limit our assistance to individuals that are not otherwise could attend camp due to some financial hardships. Our scholarship program is given for just Michigan Crossroad camps. So we're going to keep the money in our camps. Scholarships are for both Cubs as well as Scouts BSA. Deadline for getting that for Scouts BSA registration in is April the 1st, but Cubs and Webelos is May 1st. Scholarships are awarded up to 1/2 of the regular price. So if you if the regular price is $128, then 50% is what's we will be the max that we would give out. Sign up early, as we do have limited funds. Fill out the application online. You see the arrow going, michiganscouting.org/scholarships. Just go through the panels and answer all those questions in detail. That helps us as a committee to award those scholarships in regards to things. All your information is confidential. The information is erased after we have awarded the scholarship program. More information, the better, so we can make that decision. Be sure to give vital information such as parent phone number or an email, just in case the committee has some questions for you. If you have any questions regarding that, please don't hesitate to contact us so we can answer those individually for you. I hope you use this scholarship program. We want to see the kids back to camp.
Thank you, Kathy. And it's just as Kathy said, we want you to use this program. I know I've talked to so many parents out there that are like, oh, well, you know, we were just afraid that, you know, we put it in, we might not get it. If you don't put it in, you don't know if you're going to get it or not. And I can tell you in the past, we have left money on the table. You know, we have the scholarship money available for scouts to go to camp, and we want scouts to go to camp. So please, 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 if you know that that's something that you or some of your families in your packs need, please have them fill out that information. Thank you, Kathy. So next up, we have our day camp programs. So I know that we said overnight programs, and somebody in the chat asked about our day camp programs. So to talk about our day camp programs, I am going to introduce, I think, Professor Corey Groth.
That's right. I'm a scientist. My mustache isn't staying on very well, though. So I'm going to briefly talk about day camps. We don't have all the information we'd like to have right now, but day camps are designed for a smaller scale, closer to home option for camp. So for your scouts who maybe aren't yet ready for overnight camp and need a little bit of exposure to day camp first, or those who want a camp experience in addition to overnight camp, you can do both. We are working with volunteers all over the state to provide safe day camp programs, and they range from 1 day all the way to 4 days all over the place. So there's a lot of coordination in making those happen. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about where they tentatively are. Next slide, please. All right, so on the east side of the state, our Great Lakes Division, all of our day camps are actually 3-day camps except for one twilight program. And a lot of these say tentative. The reason for that is we're still working on finalizing our partnerships with those local locations. It's a lot harder this year than it was in the past because of our global pandemic. Some locations just don't have the go-ahead yet to put anything on the calendar. So what you can do is take a quick picture of that with your cell phone if you need to. We're also going to be posting it on michiganscouting.org/cubcamp just as soon as possible, and we will update that every time we get a confirmation on an actual location. Now let's look at the west side of the state. West Division, those dates are a little bit different. We have 1 days, we have 2 days, we have 3 days, we have 4 days, different options all over the place. And again, our day camps are locally led by groups of volunteers, and the number of days is very much dependent on what committees are running those programs and what the locations will allow. So again, we'll be posting those confirmations on our website as soon as we get them. Now the price ranges for all of our camps across the state will also be posted very soon. But if you're curious and you're planning right now, you can plan for about $25 a day. So if the day camp is 3 days long, it's gonna be about $75 to afford that program. Now we're also working on getting descriptions for each location, because since they are so different, we're able to offer different things. All of them are going to have mad science as a theme, but some locations, for example, St. John's has the ability to do fishing where another location might not be able to do that. So, so we'll get all of that posted just as soon as we can. And we will have some promotions and webinars to answer more questions about those. So lastly, let's look at our last slide here. Our day camp team. So on the east side of the state, James McClellan is the staff advisor for our day camp programs, and he is working with the camp directors in all of those locations from the first slide. And again, those are all volunteers who are actually gearing up to go to National Camp School to get certified to safely run those programs. And he's also going to help coordinate so that we have certified range officers. And the same thing with Jake Straub on the west side of the state. So if you have camp specific questions, like you really want to know about one specific camp, you can contact those gentlemen and they can help get you in touch with the camp director if it's something that they can't answer until we get more information out to you. Also note, if you happen to have spare time and want to volunteer to help run some of those camps, they definitely will take the help. A lot of them have troops that come out and help run those stations. So again, day camp is just a smaller, closer to home activity for all Cub Scouts. You can do it, you can go to as many as you're able to go to. Just know that the theme is going to be the same at every location. And then you can certainly go to both day camp and resident camp. If you have any questions, you can email those gentlemen and we will get more updated information just as soon as we can. All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Professor Corey. I think you need to work on keeping that hair on.
Yeah, that didn't really work as well as I thought.
Once again, the website for our day camp programs are right here, michiganscouting.org/cubcamp. And all the day camp information, as Corey said, will be located right there. And yes, of course, we will sing at every single one of our camps. Next up is our next program. We've gone over our overnight programs. We have gone over our day programs. And this other program we have is our Adventure Point program, which is located in Grand Rapids. And I'm going to have Kim Manor is the director of Adventure Point. And I'm going to have her speak a little bit about Adventure Point. But first, we're going to show you a little video.
I'm unmuted. Thanks, Diana. So a lot of you probably noticed that at the very beginning of our video at Adventure Point, it looked a lot like the Grand Rapids Scout Office, because Adventure Point is actually the new urban campus located in Walker, Michigan, just 10 minutes north of downtown Grand Rapids, and it is the Scout Office. But even more than that, what's happened in the last 2 years is that the 30 acres that are adjacent to our Scout Office has now been fully developed. And everything that you saw in that video, plus even some more stuff, is Adventure Point. So Adventure Point is wholly owned and operated by MCC. We're all MCC employees. Many of you I've probably met during a STEM program. I used to be the STEM program director, and I was the camp director at Camp Tatanka. So we've got lots of great things to talk to you about, but what I really want to do, and if we could get the next slide, is talk about our summer day camp program. Now, day camp that you've just heard about is definitely the traditional scouting program and has a ton of awesome things that you get to do. This is not instead of that. What we're doing at Adventure Point is a 6-week program, 5 days a week, day camp. A lot of you might remember that we used to have a summertime adventures camp for kids, and it's a Monday through Friday program. We did that in Kalamazoo for a while. That's what we're doing in Adventure Point. So we have 6 full weeks. You can see we have 6 themes. Our camp director, Jack Bug, who is actually on this call, but not a presenter tonight. I'm keeping him quiet for a while. He's building up his energy for summer camp. Jack's going to be running a full program all summer long, trained staff, all of the fun stuff that everybody gets to do during the summer. But the twist is at Adventure Point, while we do adhere to every single MCC and BSA rule and regulation, the one thing that does not have to happen is the youth does not have to be a registered member of the BSA. But registered members of the BSA are absolutely in our target audience as well. So this would be in addition to anything that you would do at one of your traditional day camps or overnight camps, or even some of them for Scouts BSA camp. So we don't leave anything on the table at Adventure Point. We have something for everybody. And I've just listed a few things on this slide, but really what I want to emphasize is that we are also a year-round program. So we have a full STEM lab program. We have a sustainability program. You saw our greenhouse. Mill Creek runs right through our property, our campus. So we do an extensive water program. We do conservation, ecology, botany, geology, biology, chemistry. We've got all of that in our program. We do engineering challenges, but most importantly, what we do this summer is have a ton of fun. Traditional all the way. All the Scouts will recognize lots of fun stuff. All of the songs, flag ceremonies, lots of group games, lots of fun challenges, tons of time on the Ninja Challenge course that we have on our camp. A place where if he or she is already a registered Scout, absolutely awesome. Maybe bring a friend that doesn't get to go to camp this summer and let them see what you get to do at camp. Maybe that friend would like to join Scouting. So Adventure Point's mission truly is to be a gateway for all youth to be able to have a camp experience. As you all know, we're all very fortunate being in Boy Scouts that we've always gotten to have an awesome camp experience, and this year is going to be outstanding. But we are trying in Grand Rapids to make sure that we have an opportunity for kids who might not always have an opportunity to go to camp. If I could look at the next slide, and then we'll come back to this one. What I really, oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. So what I really want to talk to you about is some of the things that we do that are a little bit different at Adventure Point. Number one, it is an all-day program. We have yurts, which we will not be camping in, but that are available on weekends, and we have weekend opportunities year-round, and as soon as COVID allows us to, we'll start doing that indoor camping again. There's the Mill Creek that you see up in the top left corner, our climbing tower, largest outdoor climbing tower in Grand Rapids in Kent County. Lots of outdoor classrooms. So this summer is an outdoor program for us. With or without COVID, we want kids outside. So we've got lots of space outside. We've got program buildings, we've got pavilions, the greenhouse. We'll be running a full farm-to-table greenhouse gardening program this year. All of our campers will not only be growing and planting and harvesting fruit, but they'll be learning about new foods and how foods can repopulate and regenerate and be as sustainable. I do want to talk, and I'm sorry, Chris, if you'll go back one slide, about the pricing. So our pricing is for 5 days, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Because we try to make it convenient for working parents, we do have an early arrival, late departure option. All of that is on the website. This is the part where you have to slow down. AdventurePoint.org is the MCC website for Adventure Point. And the reason we have our own website is because in addition to all the fantastic summer day camp programs we have, we do year-round program for communities as well. We are actually a full conference center. So we have facilities that are available for rental, both inside and outside. So we have developed a website, rather Chris has developed a website for us to make sure that if you're not coming to us from a scouting unit and you maybe aren't familiar with the scouting way, you can see all of the stuff that scouts get to do, plus things that you get to do. So adventurepoint.org is where our summer day camp page is. The pricing is right here. This is the standard pricing. Here's the catch. Every month we have certain sales, and the March sale will start on the 10th of March, and it will be 20% off 1 week or 15% off for 2 youth or more for multiple weeks. We also have our summer 6-pack. That's where you get to have all 6 weeks. Again, we really like to make it convenient for working parents, so this is why we're doing our 6-week specials. All of that is on our website. Follow us on Facebook. AdventurePoint.org is a Facebook page where all of our specials will be advertised. And Diana, I hope that everybody that gets to come out to Tatanka, DeBarre, and Gerber, if they have an opportunity to be in West Michigan, maybe mom and dad want to take a few days and, you know, hang out over by the lake while the kids are coming to camp, we would love to have them come to Adventure Point this summer.
Definitely a super cool opportunity for anybody that could be there. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Yes. So once again, Kim is the director of Adventure Point. Jack Bug, you can't see his face, but he's super exciting, and I love that guy, and he is running Adventure Point, so we are very excited for Adventure Point this summer as well. So moving on from Adventure Point, some of the things that I know were in the chat that some of you guys were like, hey, what about COVID? Can you tell us a little bit more about this? Yes, we can. And this is what we recently came out with, is how our camp will be safe this summer. And I'm actually going to pass this off to Sean Henneman. Sean Henneman is our Deputy Scout Executive and our Chief Program Officer, and he's going to explain a little bit more about that for you. And I just want to say, I love this this slide here. I think it's super cool with the elbow touch or 5 or whatever we're talking. So Sean, I'll let you explain a little bit more.
All right, thank you very much, Diana. I wanted to thank our entire team. We really have 2 jobs this spring. One of those jobs are being our regular administrators that we are, a program, and all the things that we do in scouting. Our second job is to make sure that we're COVID compliant and we're running a safe program, and we're meeting with the state of Michigan and the National Boy Scouts of America to make sure that everything we do and that we roll out is very safe. So not only, I know a lot of you leaders had questions in the chat room, but we also know that we have to make our parents feel very comfortable to be able to bring their child, in many cases for the first time in their lives, and in many other cases for their first time in a couple years, to camp. And there are many things that we're doing. What I'd like to mention first, many of you here are unit leaders, and you know that the state protocols are changing. Well, I want to make a quick announcement. So if you're a pack leader or a troop leader and you're on this call, it got a little easier for us to meet the last few days. As of this Friday, you will be able to meet inside, 25 or less, social distancing, and you will be able to meet outside up to 300. And I think that's great because I don't think we have any packs or troops that are over 300. So that will help for us to get meeting again. But as I mentioned, those policies are changing as we prepare for camp. I will tell you, our team is working very hard right now to build our plans. You know, we've been meeting with the state of Michigan once a week. Our team is getting information one day and we're trying to digest it the next. I can tell you as we prepare our PAC programs, our overnight programs. We don't have to change the content of the program very much. We are going to be traveling in cohorts, which really is what PACs do anyways. You know, they travel in groups of, they travel in a den. Our cohorts cannot exceed 10 individuals. So that could be 8 children and 2 parents, or 8 scouts and 2 parents. So we're also working, especially on our overnight programs, on our food service to make sure things are wrapped properly. And we're doing staff trainings. One of the biggest things that we'll roll out, there will be a pre-screening process prior to attending camp, where parents will have to monitor kids' health for 2 weeks. And we got that on a simple form that you will have to submit. So that'll probably be one of the biggest things that those that want to participate in camp will have to adhere to, and that is a state requirement. And we'll have to take temperature checks every day. So we're working very hard to make those things as efficient as possible, that they don't disrupt the program. You can rest assured we're going to clean areas several times. Diana mentioned that we will have 1 camper tent, unless they're from the same family, and then obviously they'll have to travel in the same cohort as well. And I want to mention too, as we mentioned, we have a variety of programs here. So some of those requirements will change, whether you're at a day camp program or a resident camp program, or whether you're at Adventure Point. But we will adhere to all those requirements. With that said, we do have a short video that will show how camp will be safe this summer. I look forward to seeing everybody at summer camp. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean.
Diane, if I can add one more comment. You know, as far as real specific information, each one of our camps and programs we are working, there's many policies and procedures that will be statewide, as you saw in that video. And then there's some that will be more camp specific because we do programs that are individual to that camp. And right now, we are working to pull those two together. So we will have much more detailed information in the upcoming month of information that you'll need to prepare for camp or to communicate with your parents so they know that they'll have a safe experience at camp. So stay tuned for that. Our goal is to have that rolled out no later than early April.
Thank you,
Back to
Sean.
you.
And thank you. And yes, you should have gotten an email about with this little presentation on it about our COVID procedures that are happening in camp. So if you haven't gotten that, please make sure that you can sign up for our Michigan newsletter and our emails on our website. So you should have gotten that email. So continuing on with camp safety, we can go to the next slide. So continue on with camp safety as our COVID, so our health and safety for all of our camps. We know that, that is our number one concern. I say that to everybody every year, COVID or not, that health and safety of our campers, our parents, our youth is our number one concern. And clearly, we want them to have fun at the same time. But we make sure that all of our camps are nationally accredited camps. They're inspected annually by the state of Michigan and by the National Boy Scouts of America. And we have medical staff on site that are there 24 hours, 24/7 when camp is in session. So if something happens, we do have that medical officer there, and we have procedures in place to take care of anything that may happen during that time frame. We have trained and certified staff as well as our leadership. As I said to you before, we provide that leadership for Cub Camping, day camp. We provide that leadership for you. Our certified staff have to go to specific trainings. All of our camps have staff trainings, and depending on the length of the camp, so you have your day camp, and then you have your Cub overnight and your Weeblos overnight. They have specific hours, many hours that you have to put in. For our overnight camps, we have a week-long training that we have to go through with our staff to go over everything and anything that is going to happen during the summer, whether it be programmatic or COVID-related, which is number one, as I said before, or any other procedures that happen in camp, so emergency procedures, if there's a lightning or strike or anything like that. So we want to make sure that all of our staff are trained, and we want to make sure that you understand that that is our number one concern. Can I have the next slide, please? Once again, our safe programs and procedures, we want to make sure that all the programs that we're running are safe, that we aren't just letting kids, climb up trees and jump off of them, even though that sounds like fun, climbing the tree. I'm not sure about the jumping off of part. But, we make sure that all of our programs and our equipment is safe. We check all of our equipment before, during, and after, to make sure that is in a workable conditions. For say like a life jacket, it gets checked every year before campers come to camp, and we make sure that that equipment is safe for you to use. And then our food service and dietary restrictions. Once again, we take this very seriously. Our food service this year, as Sean mentioned earlier, is going to change a little bit. So it's not going to be like something that you're used to, but you're still going to get your food. You're still going to have what we say, some people say the chow hall or the dining hall. We're still going to have food that comes from there. And so you're still going to have your hot food that is approved by a dietitian. And we know that there are dietary restrictions out there. And we want to make sure that, if you have a scout that is gluten-free or, can't eat raspberries or something like that, we will provide food for you. If you have any questions for specific camps, you can feel free to contact camp directors. Information on contact information for them will be shown later on in this presentation. But we also want to make sure that you can come to camp and have a good time and have that food available for you to eat as well. Okay, our next slide, please. So our commitment to you as Michigan Crossroads Council. We, the Michigan Crossroads Council, are dedicated to providing our customers and guests a legendary Scout Camp experience while participating in our life-changing year-round camp programs. We are committed to providing facilities, programs, services, and camp leadership
that will consistently exceed the expectations of our customers and guests. Our Michigan Scout camps will be safe havens for experiencing the best of the adventures and the values of the Boy Scouts of America. This is our commitment across all of our camps, not just Cub camps, day camps, Scouts VSA. We want to make sure that you have the best experience possible. And how do we do that? Our goal is to make sure, next slide please, our goal is to make sure that we are living up to those expectations. You know, we will have evaluations that you can fill out, and we've been doing it for the last 3 years, at least since I've been here. We've been doing evaluations to say, hey, how is summer camp? What do you think about it? We want to get that 95% overall experience rating. So we want to say, hey, 95% of our scouts and scouters said your camp is awesome. I want to do this again. Come back again next year with more kids and more parents and leaders. Our staff expectations, right? We want to make sure our staff are the most qualified, highly trained staff that we can. Very enthusiastic, especially for Cub Camp, because we know that those Cub Scouts, I mean, those little guys, just like my boys, right? Super fun, super full of energy. So we want those staff to be very full of energy, but we also want them to be focused. We want them to be focused on your needs. And we want them to respect and maintain and improve our facilities as well. We have 5 focus areas that we are focusing in all of our camps. That is quality of staff, the food, innovation and safe programs, facilities, family and leader engagement. I'm going to go a little bit more into that in the next slide. So the innovative and safe programs is exactly what it is. Innovative and safe programs. We want to make sure that those program areas, can I have the next slide please? We want to make sure that those next program areas are program areas that your scout will enjoy, that they will have fun in, and they will learn some stuff. You know, they will learn something that they never knew before. Even if it might just be a field game, they might learn a little bit more about oh gosh, I can't even think of that word, about you know, not good citizenship, but being a good sportsman, good sportsmanship, that's the word. Good sportsmanship on there. And then our staff here, once again, staff is one of the 5 areas that we're looking at. We want to have that quality staff. We don't want to have staff that are like, hi kids, you know, we want to make sure that they're excited and they are one above, that we exceed your expectations and deliver the program that you are looking for. Our food, we want to make sure that there's a quality food service. Once again, it's going to look different, but that doesn't mean that our quality has to go down. The service of our food is going to be different. So how the food gets delivered is going to be different, but not how the food is prepared. I mean, that is still going to be quality food. In our facilities, oh my gosh, our facilities team has gone above and beyond this year with camps being closed. They've had a lot of times to do a lot of updates on our facilities, and we are very super excited about all the updates that have gone on at our camps. I can tell you off the top of my head, the biggest thing that I was super excited about was Gerber Scout Reservation. For all of you guys that have been there before, Betty Ford Adventureland, the shower house has been demolished, like totally flattened, and they put up a brand new one. So I am so excited to see it because I haven't seen it yet. And that is one out of the many things that have happened in all of our camp properties this year. So we want to make sure our facilities meets the needs that you guys have. And once again, our leader engagement, right? We want to make sure that we engage with you, our customers, our scouts, our scouters, and we want to make sure that you're part of the program too, that we want to say, hey, what did you think about our program? You know, how can we make it better? So those are the 5 areas that we are focusing on to make sure, next slide please, that you have a legendary camp experience. Yay!
Hey, Diana, one question from the chat that comes up quite a bit. We have a parent asking about allergies. And my recommendation is, I think it was answered in the chat, that put that on your health form. We have a certified health officer on duty that will vet through that. But I know how parents, you know, sometimes you might not be comfortable with in writing. My recommendation is please talk to the camp director and the health officer to go over those needs as you arrive to camp or before, but we are ready to accommodate that. So yes, it is on the form to fill out, all the information you need to know. But I would recommend that you also connect with the camp director and the health officer to go over those specific needs.
Yes, thank you, Sean. As we said before, it is very important that we contact our camps prior to arriving at camp, especially with dietary needs. And then we also ask you again, when you come to camp, there's always some sort of orientation or camp walkthrough the first day. And the dining hall of food service is always one portion of it. And we want to make sure that if you mention that as well to the food service director, to be like, hey, I know I put this information in, but I'm just confirming that, my son, my daughter, or myself, we have this allergy and you want to know the process. We are very, we have this process down. It's been going for a couple of years and it's been working really well for us. But if you don't tell us, we don't know. So that's the number one thing. We can't read your mind, right? So if there is a dietary restriction we need to know about, please let us know. Before I move on, we only have 2 slides left, so we're almost done. And I know we're a little bit over an hour, but I want to make sure that everybody gets the main basic information that you really need before we leave this webinar tonight. So the good thing is that I did see some Baloo in here about Baloo training. Baloo training is absolutely amazing. And yes, you need to have it for when you and your pack go on an outing or do a camp over somewhere. You do not need to have a Baloo trained leader to come to our resident or our camps this summer, because this is considered our, we are putting on the program, your council is putting on the program, and we are providing that for you, so you don't have to have that. Is there any other, Sean, I know, Jansen, you've been answering a lot of questions. Is there any other questions here that I need to answer that I have not seen? I mean, I know there's a lot that have been coming around. The masks, I know the masks is something that we have in our COVID procedures, that masks do have to be worn all the time. We do understand that sometimes they are very uncomfortable for youth. I know my boys love them. I just tell them they're little ninjas and they put them on and they play ninja all the time. They absolutely love it. But we do understand, there are times where, we would have to, take the mask off or whatever. We will work with you on that, set you aside and you can take the mask off, or, they can take a breather and relax and chill out a little bit, because we do understand that is very constrictive for some youth or even some adults. So if that happens, please talk with your camp director on that piece. Anything else that I am?
Diana, the only other thing that came up is, and I think it's going to lead into the webinars that you're talking about, but
Sure.
As things evolve, how do the cohorts work? What are some of the specifics in regards to COVID? Can you talk a little bit about how we're going to be addressing that in the coming months, and how the webinars are going to be a crucial part of making sure we're informing all of our parents?
Yeah, thank you, Jansen. Yeah, it is very important that we are going to be having webinars, so or at least meetings like this online for each camp. And it is very important that you attend them, because any updates that we have, we will say it in our webinars. We will say it in our meetings. The COVID pieces, as Sean said, we are working on workbooks for each one of our camps. We are working on procedures that are MCC procedures, and then our camp procedures, because once again, all of our camp facilities are a little different. So we are all working on that to make sure that everything is in place when it comes to food service, the office, how do we clean bathrooms, every single program area, literally everything, the trading posts, the check-in procedures, check-out procedures. So all of these things are in process. We are working on it right now. And as Sean said, we're looking to roll that out in April. So it is very important that even if you're not signed up for a camp, but you want to know more information about it, to go to those webinars. And actually, we have a little slide right here, upcoming webinars. So the upcoming webinars, each camp will have a follow-up webinar to this one. So if you're like, hey, we know we're going to go here, we want some more information, this is where you're going to do it. So Camp Tatanka is the first camp webinar that's going to happen, which is next week, and that's on Monday, the 8th at 7 p.m. And it has this information here. Our registration for our webinar will also be on the website as well. And I know you will get that in an email. So please make sure that you sign up for the webinar. So Camp Tatanka is on March
March 8th. And then Betty Ford Adventureland, which is Gerber Reservation, is going to be on March 9th. So it's Monday, Tuesday. And then the next one is Wednesday, which would be DeBarre Scout Ranch. So DeBarre Scout Ranch will be on March 10th. They are all at 7 p.m. For some reason, if you're like, hey, you know, I don't know which camp I want to go to, which one do I sign up to? You can sign up to anyone, and we can always help you get information from those other camps, because all of our camps are working together to make sure that we hit every single, as I said, every single little aspect that we can and that we have to. So you can join us in any one of our webinars. These webinars, as I said, will be very camp specific, but if you do have some general questions to be like, hey, I didn't know which camp to go to, so I just came to this one. You know, could you help me a little bit more about one of these camps? We can always point you in the right direction if needed. So with that, the contact information for all of the camp directors is on this slide. If you want to take a picture, you're very welcome to. We are also on the website. Our contact information lands there. Gerber Scout Reservation, we have Drew and Mary as our camping and camp director. DeBarre Scout Ranch, we have Jansen and Joe as our camping and camp director. In Tatanka, you have myself and Nathan as the camp director and program director. And then we also have our management team on the right side, which is our Sean, which you heard from earlier, our chief program officer, and then myself, and then Chris Townsend is our operations manager. And Rebecca is the amazing reservations manager that we have. She's the one that's helping us with any reservation problems that we have in our Black Bug system. That is the system that you will go through to make any reservations. So if you have any questions, if you have any problems, like you're trying to register and something's not working, for some reason you can't enter in somebody's name or something like that, you can always give Rebecca a call and she can help you with that, as well as the camp specific teams. So once again, we're very excited. We want you to come to camp. We know how important knowing all the information is, especially when it comes to COVID and the pods, as Jansen said. We know that you want to know as much information as you can, and we want to give you as much information as we can. We just want to make sure that you know as well, just like everything, it is fluid. We are making our plan to say, this is where we're going to be, you know. Fingers crossed the state of Michigan doesn't say, hey, we can't, you know, X on everything. We are running camp. I am saying, hey, we are running camp. We've got our code procedures in place. Come to our webinars, and then we will explain a little bit more, as I said, on this camp specifics, like how check-in's going to work, and you know, how the dining area is going to work, and then the pods. The other piece is, you know, how we're going to be moving around in pods, and we will explain that a little bit more for you as well in detail. So I'm just making sure the last minute here. I think Sean's on top of it in the chat room. So if for some reason you have a question that was not answered in the chat, please send me an email. I have absolutely no problem trying to help you out and trying to answer any of the questions you have, because I know especially with Cub Camp, it is there's so many questions from different parents, and there's a lot of it. So please feel free to call me or contact me, as well as any of our camp directors. So thank you so much again for joining us this evening, and we look forward to seeing you next week, March 8th, which is Tatanka, March 9th, which is Gerber, Betty Ford Adventureland, and March 10th, which is DeBarre Scout Ranch. So we'll see you, hopefully we'll see you next week at the webinar. Thank you again, and have a nice evening.